we're going to be working on properties of exponents. So these are the rules that we're going to be following. These are the properties. The first one that we have is the power of 1. So any letter or number to the 1 power is just that number or letter by itself. So that's what we call it, the base. This right here is our base. And whatever number we have right here or letter, that's considered our exponent. So negative power, whenever we have a negative exponent, what we do is just put it as a fraction. Put a 1 on top of it, send it to the bottom as our denominator, and that's how we're going to take away the negative. We don't want a power as a negative, so just make it a fraction, put the AM at the bottom of the fraction, and then a 1 at the top. The power of 0. So anything to the 0 power would just be 1. It doesn't matter if it's a number or if it's a letter, we're always going to equal to 1. The product of quotient. Quotient just means division. So whenever you're dividing, it has to have the same base. Like right here, we have the A and the A, and top and bottom. So what we do with the exponents, we're going to subtract the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. The product of power. So when we're multiplying and it's the same base, the same letter or same number, what happens to the exponents? We're just going to be adding them. So AM times AN will be AM plus N. And the last one that we're going to be working on is the power of a power. That means that whenever we have the base with an exponent inside the parentheses and then another power on the outside to another exponent, so basically exponent to exponent, what we do with these two exponents is just we multiply them out. So it'll be AM times N. All this is going to make sense once we start doing with the problems. So the first problem, we have 2m squared times 2m to the 3rd power. The first thing that we're going to be working on is with our numbers. 2 times 2 gives us the 4. Now we have m2 and m3. We are multiplying. So what happens when we multiply and we have the same base, the exponents, we're going to add them. So we're going to say 4m2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 gives us the 5. So that would be m to the 5th power, and then the 4, just bring it on over. So this will be the answer for number 1. So number 2, we're going to be working on it the same way as we did number 1. We're going to start with the whole number. So 4 times 3 gives us 12. Then we're going to work with each letter at a time. So A and A. We have A, 3 right here. We are multiplying, so that means we're adding negative 4. 3 plus negative 4, so you have $3, you owe 1. You owe 4, so that becomes that you owe 1. The 12, just bring it down. And lastly, the B's. We have B2 plus negative 3. Again, the same thing. We have $2, we owe 3. So at the end, we're going to owe 1. Remember that we don't want negatives as our exponent. So what happens when we have a negative? A negative power, we just send it to the bottom, make it positive. That means that A and B, since they're both negative, are going to go at the bottom of the fraction. In this case, we're not going to put a 1 right here because we have a 12 on the outside. So we put the 12 at the top. And when I have the 12 right there, then that's when we will become a 1. So for next one, whenever we have a power of a power or an exponent with an exponent, this is the property that we're going to be using, which is going to be multiplying our exponents. Basically, we're distributing this 4 to everything that you have inside the parentheses, not only the letter, but also the 3, because that's included inside the parentheses. So that means 3 to the 4th power, and then k to the 4 and 4. Again, 4 times 4 will be, well, this is 4 times 4, which is k to the 16 and 3 to the 4. 3 to the 4 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which it gives us 81. 81 k to the power of 16. Number 4, we have number 4 right here. We have a quotient, we have a fraction. Fraction means division. We are going to be using this product right here. That means that we're going to be subtracting the top exponent minus the bottom exponent as long as the bases are the same. So in this case, we have the same letter. There's only a 3. That 3 is going to stay in the top. of the fraction. Now, whenever we have the same base and we're dividing, what we're gonna do is subtract our exponent. So it's gonna be -4. We just keep this exponent as is and we subtract the bottom one, which is a 3. -4 and -3. We owe $4 to one person, to another person, we owe them 3. So at the end, we're gonna be owing a total of 7. So it's gonna be -7. Now that m to the -7, is it gonna go in the top or is it gonna go in the bottom? In this case, it's gonna go in the bottom because remember, we don't want an exponent as a negative. Whenever we have a negative, just send it to the bottom and take out the negative. So this right here will be our final answer. Number 5 looks complicated, but it's not as much. We're gonna start with the numbers 4 and 3. We can't do nothing to them, so that's how they're gonna stay. So this is where I'm gonna write my answers. Then we go with the letters. It has to be the same letter, so we're gonna start with the M's. Right here. We know that whenever it's a fraction or a division, that means we're gonna be subtracting the top minus the bottom. Top number is a 4, bottom number is a 2. 4 minus 2 gives us 2. Since it's a positive, that goes to the top, so it'll be m squared. We work with the next one, n3 and n2. So it's gonna be n3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 will just be 1, so n to the power of 1. It's a positive exponent, it goes at the top. Now right here, I didn't put the 1 right here because that's an invisible one. We don't necessarily need to put it. If you want to, you could, but the answer's gonna look like this without that one. And lastly, the p's. So we have p3 minus 4. So top exponent minus the bottom exponent. 3 minus 4, we have $3, we owe 4. So at the end of the day, we're gonna owe 1. So p, -1. Now this one is a negative. This one doesn't go to the top because it's a negative exponent. That means we're gonna send it to the bottom. P, and it's just a 1. Again, we don't have to put it. So this will be our final answer, 4m squared n over 3.